We can rejoice in your salvation. So let's do it now. Why wait? Ubashem Eloheinu Nidgel, and we will raise the banner of the name of our God on high. Yimali Adonai Kol Mishalei Secha, and Hashem will fulfill all our requests. Ata Yadaiti, now I know, says David HaMelech, Ki Hishia Adonai Mashiach, that Hashem will save. Hashem does save, has saved, will save his anointed one. Yanehu Mishmei Kodshe, and answer him from his holy heavens. Vigavures with might, Yesha, salvation, Yamine, from his right hand. Some come with their cars, with their tanks, with their vehicles of war. Others with their cavalry, with their planes and their drones. We come with the name of God on our lips. They bent and fell. And we stood up strong, and we are still standing, stalwart. Adonai Hashem should answer us in the day that we call unto him. We're entering now chapter 6 of Tanya, which is about the fourth klippa. There are 4 levels of klippa that the Tanya speaks about, just like the opposite to the 4 levels of holiness. 4 levels of holiness are the worlds of action, formation, creation, and God, the world of godliness. There's no hiding. And similarly, on the other side is Sitra Achra, the other side of Klippa, we have 4 levels, 3 totally impure levels. The source of all impure things, the source of life, of venomous snakes and scorpions, and bad things. Non-kosher food, non-kosher behavior, improper behavior, transgressions. When a person does a sin, where is he getting his life from at that moment? Hashem gives life. But he can give life in a pleasant way, in a loving way, that's called panemius, or he can give life in a negative way. Like here, if you insist, I have to give you life so that you can make a meaningful choice. I hope you choose to do good, but if you choose to do bad, so I have to give you life. So it's with regret, what we call in English a backhanded compliment. There's someone you don't like, and you see they do something, and they want to be praised for something that they did, and you're not judging them with a good eye, so you give them a half-hearted compliment. So Hashem half-heartedly gives life to the klippas, and that's where our life comes from when we do something against what Hashem wants. Like Hashem told Adam and Chava, don't eat from this tree, but he was giving them life as they ate. But he wasn't happy about it. He wasn't happy. Hashem was not a happy camper. You can quote me on that. Just be careful who you say it to. Okay, now on page 101. The same way that the godly soul has 10 faculties, 10 aspects, which are the 10 spheres, which subdivide into 2, which is intellect and emotions. And so to our character also has the same makeup. And now we see that in the other side, the soul of the Sitra Achra, that's to say, that's another term for our basic human soul. What's the goal of the basic human soul? You should stay alive. Preserve your life. And it will struggle to stay alive. It will also have the same tenfold structure. Where does it reside? Page 102 in the blood. Okay. Now, in holiness, these are called 10 sephiros kadoshos, 10 holy spheres. What are they? Chachma, Bina, Das, that's the intellectual spheres. And then Chesed, Gevura, the emotional drivers. Teves, which is truth and beauty. Netzach, Hoid, Yesod. And Netzach and Hoid get the job done, get the job done and get it done right, beautifully. And Yesod is giving it over to the receiver. And Malchus is the whole structure of creation. That's in holiness. And the other side, these 10 aspects are called crowns of impurity. They're a source of things that are impure. We don't want to be connected with that. 10 crowns of impurity. In Hebrew, it's kisrim, keser. In Aramaic, the misavusa of impurity. What are these 10 aspects? Just like in Kedusha, we have two divisions between intellect and midos. Word midah, by review, means a measure. What it really means, when it refers to, is your character. Because we measure your character by what you do and how you behave and how you think. These are the measures of your character. Did you ever have to do in school a character analysis, a character description of someone in a novel? How did you do it? You wrote down the thing. What did they do? What did they say? What did they think? And from this, we develop a picture. And the writer has put this into the story. Well, everything about them that we need to know. Well, similarly here, the midas tell us about the character, is the measure. These are the garments of the soul, give us a measure on the character. So that's why the word midah means a measure. Like you go to a store, you want to buy a jacket, an article of clothing, let's say you take small, medium, large. What's your measure? That's your midah. But here we're talking about characters, midas of the character, like the midah of kindness and the midah of discipline. And we learned in chapter 1 that these midas are also connected with the 4 physical elements in the world. What are the 4 basic elements?
Fire, water, air, earth.
Yes, exactly. Fire and water, air and earth, and combinations of them, depending on percentages of each. And we spoke in chapter 1 about how these 4 elements express our character when they're used by the other side, by the animal soul. For instance, fire in the animal soul will express itself as anger, impatience, arrogance, pride. And water in the animal soul will express itself as an addiction to pleasure. People get addicted to things that give them pleasure. And air in the animal soul leads to negative, non-productive talk. Talk. Foolish talk. Negative talk, scandal, gossip. And earth in the animal soul leads to what kind of, how does it express itself? What kind of character? An earthy character. What would you expect that person to be? Joyful, happy, morose, depressed, yes, depressed, and very negative. First one out of bed, sluggish, earthy. At a party, this person is a wet blanket, called a wet blanket. Dull, uninspired. Those are the four elements in the animal soul. They also work through the godly soul. Same four elements. So we have the same four elements, only in a good way in the godly soul. For instance, fire in the godly soul is enthusiasm, davening with it, dancing, enjoying doing mitzvahs, having a lot, loving to, enjoying doing a person a favor. Air in the godly soul is learning Torah, teaching Torah, encouraging people, saying good things. You understand? You get it. And similarly, water in the animal soul, water is connected with pleasure, taking pleasure in serving Hashem, taking pleasure in help. You know, there are people like that. They see something needs to be done, they jump to do it. Thank you so much. My pleasure. And what's earthiness in the godly soul? Patience. Very good. What else? Similar, in a similar vein?
Calmness.
Calm, yeah. Being calm in the service of Hashem, taking everything in stride. What was Moshe's greatest thing about Moshe?
Humble.
His humility. He was the most humble. Torah testifies Moshe was the most humble person in the whole world. No one more humble than Moshe. Okay? So that's the element of earth in the godly soul. Continuing on page 102. These are the emotions, these are the elements of your character. Where do they come from? Just like in the godly soul, they come from your intellect. The intellect, the seichel, gives birth to these qualities in the animal soul. And the godly soul, the intellect godly soul, also is three-part. That's Chabad, Chachma Bina Das, Mokar Hamidus. Now, here's a very important point here. We're going down page 102. We're working through it quickly because we've covered all these things before. We've spoken about all of these things in great length. Because your character is going to be proportionate to your knowledge. The more you know about a thing, the more depth you have in understanding it. All this will come to the fore when you do the thing, whatever it is. So he's saying here that your midas depend on your seichel. Now he gives you a proof. The bottom of page 102, because a young child, a young child is called a cotton, not like a cotton shirt. Cotton means someone small. Children like little toys. A little car makes a child very happy. Inexpensive little things make children happy. Because their seichel is undeveloped. Their seichel is also small. Dvarim Yakarim Yeser Mehem, and it's not capable of understanding things of greater importance. A young child, does not know the meaning of money. He'll be interested in a coin if it shines. It could have no worth whatsoever. Or it could be a very valuable, rare coin. The child will not treat it with greater respect, and he will not be disinterested in it because he doesn't know what it is. His mind is not developed. Whereas a person whose mind is developed will have a desire for money, and he will work hard to get money and to preserve it and to keep it and to use it wisely because his seichel is guiding him. Bottom of page 102. And similarly, with the mid, that's the mid of chesed. What is a young child loves? Little things. What about the opposite quality, which is discipline and might? Similarly, a young child gets angry very quickly. Flies out, starts screaming and throwing things. And similarly, when we speak about bragging and other midas, okay, so what do we see from all this? That the animal soul has 10 faculties. Just like the godly soul has 10 faculties. And okay, page 103, continuing. The Eser Bechinos Elu, these 10 faculties, Hatameyes, let's remember they are impure. They are purely self-centered, egotistical characteristics. If a person thinks selfishly, or he speaks scornfully, or brags about himself or his family, or he does something that's under certain circumstances, he does something which under certain circumstances might be considered good, but really it's very selfish. So when he, on any of these levels, his thinking, his words, his actions, which operate through the organs of his body, and they provide for him now impure garments, not as opposed to holy garments we've been learning about before. When a person does mitzvahs and learns Torah, he acquires holy garments for the neshama, which it will appreciate in Gan Eden. Now, when a person behaves selfishly, he surrounds himself and then clothes himself or herself with these filthy, impure garments. Now what are you going to do? Every now and then you have to sit down and take a look at yourself. How am I behaving? How would I like to behave? How is it possible for me to behave? That's called tshuva. And you need to make a character adjustment. Sometimes bad things happen to us. We have a bad experience. And we have to understand that bad experience is not pleasant, but it could be that the Eibishter is helping us to have a character adjustment, making us think, what am I doing wrong? Not what did I do wrong to cause this situation, but what am I doing wrong in general that is putting me in this negative situation? I'm getting negativity on so many different fronts. And when I pinpoint and identify negativity in my thoughts, my words, my actions, and so I resolve, one by one. You can't do everything all at once. You can't just, very few people can just change overnight. An extreme experience could bring it on, but it's rare. In general, we have to first identify the negative problem and then gradually plan how we're going to correct it. So next time I won't do the same thing again. That's called tshuva. That's called tshuva. And it's very precious. It's a very, very precious mitzvah. It's very beloved by Hashem. And it's a tremendous accomplishment. And every little bit of tshuva that you do is infinitely good. It's like a rocket ship, and you set off the jets, and tshuva on that one thing that you decided you're going to fix in your character, in your midas, that one thing sends you into outer space. You thought skiing was fun. Yeah. Now, the garments of the animal soul, we're leading up to tshuva. We have to backtrack a little bit. We're talking about these negative garments, selfish, egotistical garments of thought, speech, and deed. Okay, page 104 in the middle. These garments, you know what they are? They're your whole life. That's what he said. They're your whole life. Hein, kol hamaisim. They include all the things that we do. Hanaisim tachas hashemesh. Everything that's done under the sun. Unusual phrase. Under the sun means in this day-to-day world. I'm sure it means a lot more than that too. In our day-to-day activities, almost everything we do is generated from this klippa. The energy in what we do is from this klippa. You want to go for a run, you want to watch a movie or a game, you want to watch, I don't know, you do spectator sports. People used to go to watch the game, the baseball game, the football game, the soccer game. You go into certain stores, you see the soccer game is always on a little video machine somewhere. They're watching it. All these things are generated and given energy by klippas noga, by this klippa. It's not a sin, but it's not a mitzvah. They're permissible. We're not talking about doing transgressions. Transgressions are from the impure, to say lashon hara, or to steal money that's not yours, or to hurt somebody. That's from the three impure klippas. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the regular, everyday things that you do. Driving the car to get gas. Where do you get the energy from? Klippas noga. Nothing wrong with it. But there's nothing good about it. Except that the car enables you to do mitzvahs because you have a car that goes, right? Asher hakol hevel v'rois ruach. So says Solomon, King Solomon, everything is vanity and a destruction of your spirit. Getting and spending, we lay waste our days. We lay waste our hours in pursuit of things that are not ours. Vanity. This is written, I'm not making this up, says the Alter Rebbe. It's written in the Zohar, in the chapter about crossing the Red Sea, which we're coming up to in 2 weeks' time. Shein Teviru Derucha, and they are a ruination of the soul. We waste our whole life. Person gets to his middle years, is 50, 60 years old, and he takes a look. He says, what did I do? What did I do with my life? I worked and worked and worked, and I paid the rent. What did I do? I ate, I slept. That's it. For this I came into the world. And he sees the emptiness. Okay, we're now on page 104, coming to the bottom where the mark is. It says 6 Teves. Okay, we're coming. And similarly, that's until now we're talking about actions, things that we do in this world. Now we're going to move up to words and speech, thought. Similarly, call hadiburim, all the things that we talk about. The election, politics, business, just joking around. If our words are not directed to teaching about God, thinking about God, telling others about God, if we're not on that level, reaching out to someone, then we're not going to be in the realm of holiness. We're just in the realm of self, stuck with yourself. Similarly, all words, all thoughts that are not direct, that's the touchstone. Is this helping you in your service of Hashem? What do our sages teach us? That all our deeds should be for the sake of the one above. All our deeds should be for the sake of heaven. So you have to be a monitor. You have to monitor what you're saying. You have to monitor what you're doing. If it's not consciously something you're doing as part of your service of Hashem, to make your life a better place, to make your family a better family, to make your character a finer character, something you can tell the Rebbe about, something you can show to Hashem and say, after 120 years, look, Hashem, this is what I did. If you don't do that, then the actions that you do, the words that you say, the thoughts that you think are garments of the animal soul, generated by the human animal soul from Klippus Noiga. They are not a sin, but they're empty. And this is the meaning of the term Sitra Achra, the other side. Now we come to a very, very important definition. It's very important to keep this in mind. What does it mean, the other side? It means the other side, you have holiness on one side, and here we're talking about the animal, the human soul, which is the other side. Anything that's not the side of holiness is the other side. It's not the side of evil, but it's not the side of holiness. What is the side of holiness? Page 105. A very beautiful thought with which we're going to end the class today. The side of holiness is Sa'at HaKadusha, page 105 at the top. Eine ela hashra v'hamshacha mekudushasei shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The side of holiness is doing something that is filled with the presence of Hashem. When I eat a meal and I say a bracha, that's from the side of holiness. I'm thanking Hashem for giving me this energy. I'm thinking even in the back of my mind, in my subconscious, I'm going to use this energy to make someone else happy, to do a good deed. That's the side of holiness. All right, is that clear? Sa'at HaKadusha is when Hashem rests upon you, we say Hashem rests upon the Beis HaMikdash. The holiness of Hashem is present in the Mishkan and in the Beis Hamikdash, and the presence of Hashem is there whenever you do a good deed. But you have to do it for Hashem's sake. If you do it for your sake, that people should admire you or that you should benefit from it, you should get a job or a shidduch, or just have friends because you're doing this nice thing, and for that reason, then it's not holiness. That's selfishness. That's klippa. That's klippa's noga. But if we do it for Hashem, I'm doing this for Hashem, doing this for you, that Moshiach should come now. That the world should be more ready, more prepared for holiness. Oh, now you're talking. Now the holiness can rest upon you. And that holiness is Hashem himself. You're doing this for me, says Hashem. I'm with you. It's so simple. Do it for me, I'll be with you. I'll give you strength to succeed. Okay, but how do I do this? What do I have to do? Here we go. Hashem, Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shoyrei. We're talking about where Hashem is resting, where he's going to be found. There's one crucial ingredient to this whole equation, and that is humility. A person has to have a humble spirit. The holiness only resides in a place of a low place, a place of humility. The term for it that's used in Hasidus very often is bitul. Bitul, B-I-T-U-L, bitul. Bitul means subservient, like a servant to his master. He's bitul. Whatever the master says, he's going to do. He gives his willpower over to the master. So I give my willpower over to you, Hashem. Do with me what you want. I'm yours. I'm devoted to you. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Whatever needs to be done, I will do it. That's what it means, bitul. It says in English here, a person who surrenders himself to Hashem. Whether and where do we see this? You know where you see it? Two places, he says. It's very interesting, it's fascinating. He says we see that in actuality, in what we call angels. An angel has no will of its own. Angels do what Hashem wants. That's all. They're creations. They're servants of Hashem. He makes them to do the winds. Hashem makes the winds to blow. They blow the way Hashem wants them to blow. They're subservient to him. So this is actual bittul. This is actual subservience. That's where holiness can dwell. Holiness of God dwells upon the angels. The angels are holy. They have great powers that Hashem gives them. Where else? In every single Jewish person. We have this quality in potential. How do you say in Spanish potential? Potencia. How did I know? Just had to be. How do you say in French? Potential. In Italian? Probably all the same thing. So that's an amazing thing. That Hashem dwells, person wants to be together with Hashem. The secret ingredient is bitul, is humility, subservience to Hashem. That's called taking upon oneself the yoke of service, like an ox is a powerful creature that can plow a field, like a tractor. Has tremendous power. But before the tractor can plow, you have to turn it on. You have to turn the key. And before, if you don't have a tractor, you have an ox. Before you can plow with an ox, you have to put the straps over its shoulders that it can pull the plow. And that's called taking on the yoke. The yoke is that piece of wood that goes over the shoulders that you tie the straps on that are connected to the plow. Now the ox goes and the field gets plowed. So we have to take upon ourselves the yoke, 2 yokes. One is the yoke of accepting the kingship of God. And the other yoke is take on the yoke of serving God by doing mitzvahs. And then holiness will rest upon us. And today is a great day for this. Just one quick word. We're over time again, late for the minyan, as usual. I can't resist sharing with you that the Rebbe says that this day is a great, great day for tshuva because nothing bad happened on this day. No walls were broken, no people were killed, just the armies of Nebuchadnezzar from Babylon arrived. This was a warning. It was like a notice from the government. Do your income tax. The deadline is coming. It was a warning. Do tshuva now, and everything will be good. So that's what we have to do. Take some time today to look at our thoughts, our actions, our words, our thoughts, and if we see something isn't just exactly the way it should be, let's make a plan how that one detail I could fix it. That's true. And then give it an extra quarter to tzedakah, and Hashem is with you. Shift now, and that could be the one quarter that tips the scale and brings Mashiach.
Thank you. Yeah.